Welcome to FMA Talk Live. This is Datu Tim and my wonderful co-host,
PG Ties here.
Hey, how is everyone doing? Please, when you say hello today, let us know what part of the world you are saying hello from. So it is, I don't even know. Today is May 2nd, 2 days away from May the 4th be with you. Or more importantly, the finale of Moon Knight, which I kind of like, but I've stopped watching it so I can binge the rest.
There you go.
And of course, Eric is Eric's the first viewer of the night that has actually chimed in. He wins the award. We're doubling last week's award, which was the same as the previous week, which is that. But wait, actually, we love you.
But it's got sprinkles on top this time.
There we go. Sprinkles on it.
And the day after May Day, so everybody did their around the pole dance, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, definitely. So a lot of cool things to talk about. We have our topic, how to save Filipino martial arts, and we're using Modern Arnis as the model. But it's not just Modern Arnis. A lot of arts are having the same issues. But I've got some really, really cool news, which we'll talk about. But this weekend, multiple events went on. PG Ty, you had your event, the spring fling or spring thing or whatever the heck the spring thingamabobber is. So tell the viewers who haven't heard about this what that is.
Yeah, it's it was the 8th annual Spring FMA thing, carried on from an earlier event that our friend John was doing. But it's a gathering of local FMA teachers, students, styles, getting together in a park, having some food, sharing some information, and just sharing our connection to Filipino martial arts and our love for it. Really family feel, really fun feel, really in what do you call it? In not official, kind of comfortable setting.
Nice.
And we have some we have fairly experienced folks keep on showing up, and they're having a blast, which is how it should be.
Nice. So who are some of the presenters that you had?
Let's see. So we had PG Chad, I think, started off. John Ralston was there with Michelle, and they did a thing. I met a new guy, not new guy. He's from Richmond. A friend, or he was told about it from Style and Patrick. Greg Spence, really nice guy, really good guy. Tuhan Bobby came in. Michael Ditchek, Lex Chrysostomo was there, a longtime supporter, right? And the list goes on. Oh, Jeff Ramsey. And I gosh, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I wasn't there, so I guess I have an excuse. So why wasn't I at my own event? As you can tell, I have the COVID, so luckily it's pretty mild for me. But I did not want to, throw it in everybody's faces, and I figured it would be best to start it off, stay at a distance, and check in every once in a while. So that's what I did. I left my son there to help out, and he actually had a blast, so maybe it was good to be there on his own.
Nice. Okay, so interesting.
And you had something going on too.
Okay, so actually, you know what I got to do? I got to take this off. Is
that your tiara? There you go.
Here's my Mickey Mouse ears.
There you go.
Hey, Frank. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So first of all, let's have some. So Eric loves sprinkles, and you know what? Awesome. He's a man after my own heart.
There we go.
Sifu Greg says hello, and we're both doing wonderful. It was great hanging out with you 2 weeks ago in New Hampshire.
And his crew, they were really good.
They were awesome. And then, of course, our longtime friend and classmate of yours.
That's right.
Guru Frank says hello from Connecticut. And then, wait for it, boom, all the way from Durango, Colorado.
Lovely Larry.
The Durango Kid, Larry Thompson.
There you go.
Larry, the Durango Kid Thompson. There we go. So before we get into it, please, everybody, I want to thank our sponsors, which is the Modern Arnis University. Well, okay, that's me. I'm my sponsor. And Vulpes Training Blades, which gave me a care package to take to the New Hampshire seminar. Didn't sell that many, but I did pass out a bunch of cards because people are interested in getting custom blades made.
Chris is a great guy and a great craftsman, and he cares about it because he does it. And I like to say his name because people forget that behind these companies, these one-offs, are individuals who are oftentimes just amazing folks, and Chris is one of those.
Oh yeah, he's our type of people. He's one of the guys.
Yep.
And I tell you what, these are my favorite synthetic trainers at the moment.
Absolutely.
I've had a bunch in my hands. I like it because even though, so there's some blades out there that are really cool. They're CNC'd, but I like this because even though he cuts them out from a pattern, he handcrafts them, and it's got that organic, one of a kind feel. It's not like a cookie cutter, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
Right. Well, he feels them while he finishes them off.
Yeah.
So, if there's a slight difference, he makes it part of the feel of the blade.
Yeah, and Darren actually filled in for PG Chad recently. Taught his class without him. He flew solo, had a good time with that one.
Perfect.
Those are big shoes to fill, and I find that it's very cool that he did such a wonderful job. Once again, encouraging the future of modern Arnis instructors getting out there and spreading the word.
Well, that's part of what we're doing today. Yep.
So speaking of which, let's talk about what I did. So I taught in London, Ontario. Contrary to popular belief in my jokes, it is not the 51st state, Canada. Although when I literally can get into Canada in 15 minutes from my house, it doesn't seem like it's much.
It's a good neighbor.
It's a very good neighbor. And so I went up to Cambridge. And what a class. Good. I'm glad you had a good class there. So I went up to Cambridge. I taught my first international seminar since COVID. Had over 20 people show up. We did a 3-hour workshop. And looks like I got 2 or 3 more gigs out of that coming. 4 people have talked to me about teaching the art as a standalone program.
On their own.
They're not turning their backs on their primary art.
Right.
What they want to do is they've done Arnis in the past, and they don't want to do it as an add-on. They want to do it and give it its proper dues, which is what today's topic is going to be about.
Excellent.
Now, but we need all the people out there that are going to do it as an add-on art as well, because we need more people out there.
Yep.
But I'm going to talk about something in a moment here. Let me see what my furry child is doing. Why don't you talking to people for a minute?
All right.
Hey.
Yeah, no, I wish I could have gone to that. I think he was studying, well, he'll tell you in a bit, but doing some STIG and some other things. But I think that's, to set the stage, one of the things, this goes to getting the work out to the folks, because to me, keeping things going is from the ground up, right? It's about everybody who's doing it that's going to keep it going, not about anything else. But we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Okay. So I had interesting conversations this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Kind of ties in a little in the big scheme of things about promoting the art. My latest thing I've been told is because that I didn't learn it in the Philippines, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Ah, okay. What if the Philippines came here to you? Which they did.
There's Craig. Yep. Hey, Craig. Thank you.
Craig, hey.
So so here's the thing. So I got a little hot under the collar during the conversation,
right,
to say the least, and especially when I hit them with logic as we talked. And this person wasn't saying this about me. He was reporting to me what was being put all over Facebook. So
sure.
First of all, everyone needs to man, woman, or toaster her up and actually say to me, we've invited a lot of people to be on the show. They don't like what we say. Some people don't like what we say. And it's not that we're saying anything wrong, but sometimes the truth leaves a bad taste in people's mouths.
Right.
And we're going to talk about some things like that, because I actually put some things in a better context as we talked about this weekend. Because people ask me different things about the art. And so this came up. What do you think about this? Well, let's think about this. Now, when I went to the Philippines my first time, you know what it did for me, Ty?
Well, I wasn't there, but I can guess. So what is your main takeaway that you want people to get?
That I didn't need to go to the Philippines.
Right.
So if let's talk about it as a sports coach. So a lot of the Olympic coaches that come from Europe, you know where they set up shop? They set up shop here in the States because they have the best training facility. And a lot of the international champions, the professional champions in different sports, as well as the Olympic athletes practice here because we have the best training facilities, we have the best coaching. And not to say that Americans are better coaches, we bring in the best coaches from around the world, which we acknowledge the different, we acknowledge people's skill set and not skill set to coach and knowledge on the topic. But training in the Philippines, and Dexter James just chimed in, that it's ridiculous. You learn from legends of Filipino martial arts, ridiculous. So here's what I'm going to ask these guys. Who did you train with? I trained directly with Remy Pracis.
Oh, you mean the guy that made that art?
The guy who created the art of modern Arnis as a personal student.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. Didn't want to sound.
And there are people in the Philippines. Okay, so listen. You know I love Rodel de Guc.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if anyone gets to the Philippines and you want to see the closest thing to what Remy did, you go see Rodel de Guc. But there's other people over there that are claiming to do things that only train with Remy once because they came from Combatan first. Mm-hmm. And they were recruited. And I'm sorry, an afternoon or even a month, how much training you're going to pick up? You're going to miss 26 years of evolution and get it up in one trip? That's not going to happen. I felt that we've been very respectful in giving people credit for the different things, but let's I'm going to drop a little logic on you. I'm going to hear, I don't like using this one, but this is a tangible number that I can give people. You know, I don't like using the forms as an example, but how many forms did they have in the Philippines from Remy?
Four, I believe.
Four. How many did he end up when he came to the States?
Well, we had 12.
Okay. So they tripled the amount of forms that we did. Okay. Now the art group, that's just one example. Hey, Rich. That and the forms may have tripled, but the art more than tripled.
Yes, I think it's pretty obvious. So it was not a forms driven art, and that was not the part that did it. However, as an indicator, and it's a objective number you can point to. Yeah.
No. Oh, nice shirt, by the way.
Yes, that's part of my answer to today's topic.
Here we go. Wait a minute. I'm going to take it down there. Hold on. Boom. Yep. That's from our good friend, Tuhan Jack. I've got the same shirt, by the way.
That's right.
Not to be confused with Samurai Jack.
Well, the reason I wore that is because I think it's some of the answer today is we have to interact with our peers in the larger FMA community, support and do the work, not just get out there and do the mixing, right? Do the support, show the support. If you train with them, that's cool. Even if you show up, it makes a huge difference. We have to do our footwork, not just in our own separate buildings.
And thank you there, Eric.
Hey, Eric. Thank you.
Listen. This is and this came up at the seminar this weekend. The forms were a very small portion of the art, but if we tripled the amount of information with the forms, which Remy did the 8 open hand forms, and Remy only did stick forms in the Philippines. When he came to the States, he used the forms. What is your phrase you use the forms for there, Ty?
I use their study of movement.
He used them for
a hook,
an anchor.
An anchor, yeah, there you go.
Remy was using these as anchor points to teach a lot of material.
You have to do it this way, though, because it's all mantis. Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's my feline.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. Yeah.
Here we go. Didn't GM Remy get the finger locking fro Wally J in China? Yeah, well, that's kind of funny. Another thing that the Filipinos didn't have access to.
Yep. A lot of interaction, a lot of growth.
Okay, the forms tripled. And that growth pales in comparison for the rest of the art. There's no question that the guys in the Philippines learned Remy's art that he taught in the Philippines. But he went and they missed 26 years of evolution. And they did their own evolution in a different direction. But here's the thing. And we're not trying to make fun of the Filipinos, because that's never the case. I go over there. I'm going back. I like them. I like to consider them my friends. But the thing here is this. We have to be honest with ourselves. Okay. And some of the things I don't like about myself, like I look at as a martial artist, there's some things I look at that I'm like, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. This sucks. I got to be better at this. I got to drop some weight. And I'm not talking drop it on my opponent. I mean, I got to lose some pounds and all this other stuff. I'm turning 57 next week. By the way, Saturday's my birthday, so you have plenty of days to, Amazon me something. No, it's a joke. It is my birthday, but and these guys know I don't want, if it doesn't end with a 0 or 5, we don't talk about it. But I'll be 57 this Saturday, and I look at who I used to be. Thank you, Dexter. I look at who I am. In so many ways, I am better than I've ever been. And other ways, I've lost a lot, because, age is, you're going to drop some things sooner or later. Recovery time, that's a big one. My endurance isn't what it used to be. But the thing here is this. When I hear comments like this, first of all, I get it. And the person said to me, thank you, Eric. The person said, listen, Tim, you're the biggest name, which is why you've got the biggest target on your back. And the sad thing is it's on my back. It's not on my chest. If it was on my chest and they came at me, I'd be okay with that, But here's the thing. They evolved into a different direction. Remy went this way. They didn't go with him. He didn't leave them behind. He left the country. And their expression, although it can be compatible, is not the same. So how many different cell phones use the Android system there, Ty?
Thousands, probably hundreds. I don't know.
But are the parts interchangeable between the phones?
Not the parts, no.
Okay, but the operating system is compatible.
Generally.
But the phones are still different.
Yep.
Just like we talked about before about Combatant and Modern. Even though you can look at, I can hop in almost any car and from the get-go, take off and go. But when I'm trying to figure out cruise control, air conditioning, the radio, and all
how to open the gas cap.
Yeah, where's the damn gas cap? It takes me. I remember the first keyless start I dealt with. I was there for 5 minutes trying to figure out how to start the damn car. We were in Puerto Rico, of all places, too.
Nice.
I'm like, here's the button. Oh, you got to hit the brake first. Okay. But not all things are the same.
Mm-hmm.
They all use a similar fuel. That's all compatible. Mm-hmm. And the rules of the road are compatible. We know that, but not everything is the same. And I've thought, and this goes into why the art has problems as well. Mm-hmm. And listen, there could be a two-way street on this. I can speak some Tagalog. I probably don't use the words correctly, but I think they know what I'm saying when I say it. But I don't get the nuances. And I think that possibly when I say certain things, people don't understand what I'm saying, the nuances. We talked about that one person who gave me an ultimatum, and when I told him, resignation accepted, and then I explained something later, said, well, you explain it so it's all done. No. This person gave me an ultimatum. I accepted their resignation, and then I clarified what I said afterwards, because if the person said it about that, they were going to say it about everything else as well. So I pulled the Band-Aid off and got rid of the person.
To be fair, that was not a Filipino.
And no, that wasn't. But it was a German making comments about the communication of English language.
Yep.
And the person didn't get it.
Right. Well, and it wasn't even him either, the original thing.
No, yeah. Two Americans were going back and forth. Yeah. A German stuck his nose in because he thought he knew better, and then that was it. Hey, Nathan, my man.
Hey, Nathan. Good picture of you and Sifu Greg Pachardo.
There we go. So all I'm going to say is listen. It doesn't matter where in the world you train, as long as the source of information is solid.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. Who can I train with here in the state? Who have I trained in the States? Or North America? So Remy Praces. Ernesto was coming here quite a bit. Ernesto Praces didn't need to go to the Philippines to see him, although I chose to.
Mm-hmm. Well, he invited you to. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I've been on the floor with Leo Haron. No, I'm sorry. No. Michael Haron, Leo Haron's son. But Leo Haron was here in the States. I've worked with a bunch of students of Angel Caballos, but Angel Caballos was here in the States. Yep. Bobby Tabuada is here in the States. Mm-hmm. If you're going to find a successor for Bobby's system, you're not going to look at it in the Philippines. If you're going to look for a Serrata successor, you're not going to look at that in the Philippines. If you're going to go to the Anayan Eskrima or the Bahalana or or OGE, you're going to look for that here in the States as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is where the arts are being taught. Why would you go to a country? Now, if Remy never moved here, then yes, to learn modern arnis, to really understand what the man, I'd have to go to the Philippines. But wait a minute. What was Remy again? Oh, that's right. A naturalized U.S. citizen.
He came here.
He came here in 75. So he created the art in 57. It was officially, he released the art in 57.
And when he came here in 75, or just about then, our friend Bruce was pretty much there.
Yeah. So let me think about it here. 75. Oh, so 57 to 75.
Mm-hmm.
How many years is that? Was that 13 years? 18 years?
57 to 75. Yeah, 18.
18 years. And then he spent the next 26 years here. So just if we're talking, if he created nothing more and didn't evolve at all, we still spent more time doing Remy's art here with Remy than they did.
60% was done here.
Yeah. Now, then there's the evolution. And let's talk about the Philippines again. How often do you think these guys, Ty, how often these guys get together to train every week?
Where?
In the Philippines?
Oh, it depends, right? Depends on the teacher. Sometimes it's quite a bit. Sometimes it's once a week.
Usually once a week we've seen. All right. And they train in the park. So they're I don't know of I don't know of any training facilities for the stick arts other than Dulce Par's headquarters. And the fact that Rodel de Guck has a dojo or studio attached to his business. But other than that is the exceptions, not the norm over there. Most people, they're in the park or wherever they can find free space and wait for it, subjected to weather issues. Actually, they train like you do. We'll keep going.
We're getting wimpier, but
we're over here. We've got dedicated training facilities that we can train all the time. Let me see. How many classes do I have a week? Oh, yeah, that's 20 plus. That's it. Okay. But you're right. Because I've never been to wait a minute. No, I've been to the Philippines 7 times. Oh, wait a minute, Ty. If I'm not mistaken, every time I've been there, I've done training. But here's the funny part. So recently, the Filipinos have acknowledged 3 Americans as grandmasters.
Mm-hmm.
1 has never been to the Philippines, to our knowledge. 2 of them have gone there, but didn't train. They were just teaching or part of the festival and probably just sitting around, walking around the room. But the Filipinos acknowledge them as grandmasters. So what does that say? They never trained in the Philippines. Goes back to biggest target, biggest name, biggest target.
Well, so, and to be fair, right? So there's the other way of getting this stuff too. Is if the people you're worried about are not worried about you, then what's your problem? That's the other half of it.
Hey, no problem, Dean. Hey, by the way, we got to set up the post-show thing for the symposium, and then about that gig you and I were talking about. So, all right, Dean, talk to you later, my friend. Tell Brandon we said hello.
Take it easy.
So,
that was fun teaching with him last weekend.
Had a blast. So, I just thought you'd get a kick out of that. And, once again, as always, I'm very open up front. People can be on the show. We can say things face to face. But when I'm in face to face, no one says stuff to me.
I was going to say, I thought you were immune. I mean, I know I got pot shots from modernizing our niece, among other things.
Oh, my God. There we go. And this is the whole thing. This is why I don't, yes, please let me know. Okay, I will definitely do that. I will talk to him this week.
Good.
When I look at things and I go, hey, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I was looking at something else over here on the side.
I won't make my usual bad comment.
What the heck were we just? Okay. They don't even know. I think a bunch of the Filipinos are armchair quarterbacks anyways. I mean, when they went off on you talking about when you did a video on modern arnis, and they're saying, how dare you modernize it? Remy Praces and modern arnis is probably the biggest thing that came out of the Philippines for martial arts, other than the sport with Dulce Pares or with the Quinyetes weak calf. But we're talking about martial systems. and it's in the school system. We're not talking. We're not talking stuff that was just became popular elsewhere. This is an established art with a long pedigree in the Philippines. And the guy says to you, "How dare you modernize it? You don't even know what you're talking about."
It's almost like, in some senses, it's the Shotokan in Japan, right? So now that's not exactly indigenous, but the whole point is it's in the schools, right? People should know about it. Same thing with modern arts. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, it's just another example of, listen, everybody, you just got to remember, racism's not a one-way street.
Goes all the ways.
Always. And, and I get it. I don't have the norm. There's a lot of stuff that I've put myself in environments where I've been the minority on more than my fair share of things.
Yeah.
And I've gone to places where I was the only white guy in the area. And you know what? Most of the people are cool, but you get a couple knuckleheads that say stuff. I used to hang out in Detroit on 9 Mile. I was a skate rat, and I went to the places that had the best skaters, and a lot of times they were in the inner city and the urban environments, and I was one of a minority, and I got along with everybody.
Yeah, or me, I spent years living in other countries where I was definitely not usual. Yes,
and
they used to look at us with our blonde hair. They used to look at us. I know you guys can't tell, but you can see on my eyebrows. Yeah, they really are there.
So, but the sad thing is, a lot of this stuff contributes to the problem.
It's just people, being ignorant. That's
I'm talking about today's topic.
Ah, yes. Well, and that does too.
To today's topic. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
So what? Okay, so I truly believe that the Filipino martial arts are in danger as a whole. As a whole, not one, but as the whole thing. I think the problem we're running into is that because of a bunch of different reasons, which we'll get into, that the arts are dying off or having less chance of surviving. I think some of the things is that maybe the founder, which in many cases could have been the father, may have passed it on to the son, that the son didn't even want themselves, and they didn't have the skill set to. So being a leader is rough. I mean, Remy, no one handed anything Remy. Remy made that shit work.
Yes, powerful man.
But you need to know how to teach. And as far as a foreigner teaching Americans, okay, he has had some of the most structured classes I have ever seen. I'm not saying that Filipinos aren't good instructors. They're very good at teaching their own people. But sometimes they don't know how to teach people that don't speak the language. And Remy was able to get things going that would...
he used all the tools in his box, right? He connected on so many different levels: inspiring, encouraging, details, feel, force of will, basically, right?
Yeah, and Remy was very good. I've taken a lot of lessons from him, but I look at the big scheme of things, and if we're not careful, well, let me see. Let me reboot. Remy was an anomaly. He wasn't the norm, and we've lost a lot of people because he's no longer with us. He was the glue, the magnet that drew us all together. And when he passed away, a lot of people went their own direction. Some people decided they were done. I'm going to just absorb what I learned from the professor and bring it into my school and step away from all the political nonsense that's happening or is about to happen. Because, listen, it's not modern Arnis, it's all martial arts.
Right.
When the founder dies, it becomes a shit show.
Yep.
So what do we got here? So that's true to many traditional arts. People just want to mix and match whatever they want. Everything is MMA in the future. Yeah, there we go.
Cafeteria style.
And hey, how you doing?
Hey there.
So So what needs to happen to help any martial art? And I think we're going to use Modern Arnis as the example, because obviously this is what we have the most experience in. So,
Well, one thing just occurred to me since you brought up the shirt. So I love all the bikini friends. They're in public areas getting together and talking things and having a dialogue, all the different branches, and it's a beautiful thing. We tried to do that. Several of us have tried. I've tried to support all the events with Modern and do all that. We talked about that before, but that kind of effort goes a long way when it can pay off. But everybody has to be willing to do that.
You got to do your work. We keep talking about that.
And there's that too, yes. But anyway, from on their side of things, I see some good things happening. Dean has had 2 or 3 round robin discussions or more with a bunch of PKD folks, which is wonderful. And we are friends with a ton of them, right? So they're all good people doing what they love.
I think we have to be open-minded and be inclusive of things and people. Well, first of all, I guess the real question is, do you care? No, I mean, because listen, and when we talk about, we've talked about this on multiple occasions and variations of this. If you're just having fun going to the club, the training group, or whatever, and when it's over, you don't care, you go on to another activity, then you don't care. It's not a big deal.
And that's a very human thing, and it's not a requirement. But if we're looking to a larger thing, that's where these questions come up.
Hey, Mike.
Nice.
Yeah, met him when we went to the Philippines on the first trip, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Through Combatant camp.
Yep, Combatant's family.
Yep. See, now, Modern Arnis and Combatant are compatible.
Yep.
But they're different.
Like siblings.
They're not compatible.
From the siblings. Well,
it's like multiple pieces of Legos. Just because they connect doesn't mean they're the same piece. Yep, and Hanigran. Yep.
Well, there's blood, right? There's blood, and that's a powerful thing if you're open to it.
I think Mike had this funky half football that you threw the flat end at a wall, it would bounce off, and you come back and catch. Tell me if I'm remembering that right, Mike. I could be completely off, but I thought that was the case.
Interesting. Is it a training tool or just a
broken I guess toy? So. I don't know. Okay. I mean, it was my first trip, so I didn't really care. I was just taking it all. I was just like sensory overload.
Definitely, it's a culture shock if you've never been there before.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure I didn't step on any appendages of my body or put something in my mouth like my big old foot.
Right.
But so first of all, you have to. Do you care? Or do the people you're trying to talk to care about this? And like I said, after I talked about this topic, I had multiple. Yeah, yes, I remember. Very good. And was that a football teaching tool? That's what Ty asked. So, but boom. See, I got recall powers. That was in 07. But so the thing here is this. I said, I had people call up and goes, Tim, I heard what you said, and you're concerned about the art not doing it. I would like to help. Boom, that's the kind of response.
There you go.
So people have to care. Okay. If it was just that something they did, it was fun, and now that it's gone, I'll do something else, then that's not gonna, hey, I've done rock climbing. Love it. But it's not it was a bounce back it was a bounce back quarterback training tool. Look at that.
Okay.
There you go. Cool. Random things that we talk about.
Everything can be a training tool if you're creative enough, brave enough. One of those.
There you go. So, we have to care.
Yep.
That's the first thing.
If we're talking about that larger picture, yeah, there is room for those that are just like you said, doing it that way.
You know what? And the thing,
that's okay.
I've gone into. Here we go.
Oh, hey.
Curunio, we need to get you on the. We need to get you on the show someday. Let us know when you have some time. We'll put you on the show.
Okay, Paul. Very cool. I was like when he
I'm
jumped
going to
in.
be over late. I might be over November, December. So if the club is open, I want to swing by.
So it's in the morning there right now, right?
Yes, it's 9:06 in the morning, I think.
Okay.
So I keep saying we got to care. So let's get on past that point.
Okay.
So one of the things I think that you need to do is share the vision
Mhm.
with the people around you. So you cannot get to the destination if no one knows where you're going.
Right.
So what's one way of doing things? Having a written curriculum goes a long way. And it doesn't mean you have to adhere to it like a Bible. We're talking about it in class all the time recently, because we're getting ready for, this month is we're using our camp as the 65th anniversary of Modern Arnis. We're celebrating that from the 20th to the 22nd here in Buffalo or West Seneca suburb. And everyone's looking at every page, every piece of material. We haven't done this, we haven't done that. I go, no, you don't understand. These are the things that get you there. A lot of the material on the curriculum or my curriculum sheets, I look at them as enrichment programs. You do something to give you a better look at something else, but it's not necessarily required. Like I have a series of lock flows going from one lock to another. Professor's Dance of Pain. And I have 9 of them written out as examples. And it says, okay, at this belt, you learn this one. At this belt, you learn that one.
Mhm.
The same thing as doing pad drills. I've got different pad drills on every belt level.
Right.
It has nothing about memorization. It's about being able to be coached.
Mhm.
If you know a jab, cross, hook, uppercut, split entry, persada entry, all these other things, I can make up, if you know the nomenclature, the words, the language, I can spit something out at you and you can figure it out. That's what it's about. The lock flow series is just to teach you how to connect locks together if you had no clue which ones are interactive. And then you make your own lock flow. And ultimately, that's what you do. But it's not there to be required on a test as opposed to I have everyone go through the same methodology to connect some of the dots. And then they have their own room for innovation.
I like how you said that because actually I was explaining the way we explore sombratas the same exact way. It's a give and take flow. Wow, just like a lock flow, and you can explore it and innovate and adapt
But
and learn.
and the reason why we have a written curriculum is that, okay, so I'll use my Balintawak example. I love my Balintawak. But Punong Ted, who was named to be Anshan Bakon's successor, made a point of saying, I teach exactly the way Anshan taught me, the same methodologies.
Mhm.
And he goes, and he used to teach for Anshan. Okay. He taped out the area on the floor of his basement so it'd be the exact same size. Everything was as close as possible, except I was in a basement in Detroit versus being in the Philippines where it was very hot. So, and I had to drive through Canada to get there.
It's almost
So
the same.
it's almost the same. Oh yeah, Canada, Philippines, all the same.
Right.
So because of that, I didn't learn in the same order as everybody else. And at my 2-year marker, he asked me a question. The question was, why are you doing the backup and not the preferred? Well, show me the preferred. Oh, I know why I'm not doing that. Well, why is that, Tim? You haven't taught it to me yet. That's why I created lists. As I trained, I created a checkoff list.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I go in a different order, if you see the list, here are all of our techniques. Now, that doesn't mean it's all the combinations.
Right.
And if you identify all the punches that we do and all the kicks that we do and all the knees and whatever, you can have an endless amount of combinations. Mm-hmm. It's like those spelling app games where they give you 5 letters and you got to come up with all these different words. Okay.
Really, I mean, you can pretty much deconstruct everything we do along those lines. And I think you should, because taking it apart and putting it back together is a great way to understand lots of things.
Well, that's the difference between regurgitating it and making it your own.
And doing your work, yeah.
Yep. So I've created these templates to help people fast track some certain things. Here's another one. So here's where people are going to say I'm a heretic. Okay. I think we can say that I've probably taught more than everybody else classes of Arnis.
I don't know how you couldn't say that. I mean, we did the math. It adds up amazingly.
So from 2000 alone, I've been doing 20 plus classes a year.
A week.
A week. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. My bad. Let's start over. So we figured that I probably do 10 to 15 times more classes than everyone else does. I'm not trying to talk about I'm better than them because I do more, but that leads down that path. But I've had a lot of times to experiment to find out what works and what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at, and I've come up with some objection, like less using the angles of attack. I have taken the angles, I've broken them down into two sections, a striking and a thrusting version. All the strikes and all the pokes. And by grouping them that way, it's made it easier for people to understand what's going on. Because if you do the original 12, some people periodically have, like, I don't know why we're doing it this way. Why wouldn't you just do this? Why wouldn't you do that? Yep. Wait a minute. How come we always start with a forehand and then follow with a backhand, except for these two angles?
Right.
Well, that's a good question.
Right.
I
used to just teach the first 5 at first because of that problem. Yeah.
Hey, let's think of let's go back to the basics. How did you learn the disarms?
Mm-hmm.
I learned the first 5, and then the other on the one belt, and then the other 7 on the next. We didn't learn all 12 together. But then again, when I learned them, we didn't try doing them from one angle to another. It was just
right.
The when I learned it,
they were anchored. Right. They were anchored to an individual angle, even if it was not optimal.
Yeah. I talked about it today, like the thumb strip that's done off the low forehand.
Right.
It's a terrible disarm from that reference point. But Remy gave each angle a body part for memorization, and then taught each disarm on a unique angle for memorization. And later, if you watched him, he did those disarms off of multiple angles of attack.
Yep, definitely.
But if you're too busy learning how to do the disarms and you didn't practice from the last time you saw him, you never got to that next lesson. I think the problem with Modern Arnis, most of the people kept doing the beginner course over and over again because they didn't do their work in between seeing them.
Well, and I would actually say that some of the stuff they put together like that, like those 12 angles of attack with the anchored disarms, that is a little bit like a physical curriculum in that sense, right? It's just some places to put things to make sure you go to checklist. But you have to still work the material.
Well, it all goes back to the same do your work.
Yep, I know. I'm getting tired. I'm probably wearing people out. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
you're never supposed to apologize on a show either. So, well.
They don't apologize. That's hey, listen, screw them. They can always turn us off.
That's true. That's true.
See, that's the whole thing. This is not a seminar. At a seminar, if I'm preaching, then people can say, "Well, people are kind of held hostage."
Yep.
Here, you've got here. Why? I'll show you what everyone can do. Ready? Here's what you can do.
Bing.
And now
welcome to the. Oh, I was going to say, welcome to the Tye Show. There you go. Welcome to the Tye Show.
Now you look like Bullseye.
That's right. Right now, yes. Yep. There we go. There we go.
Or you're a Dalek.
Yeah, exterminate. Oh yeah, that's gonna be my martial arts. Exterminate.
So here's here's the one I like talking about the most. If we're gonna, what can we do to make the art move forward? Now we can talk about working with others, and even so I've given so many people opportunities out there to promote what they do.
Yep.
Here's a list of some of the people that I've had guest instruct at my camp to promote Filipino martial arts and La Familia or Ohana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've had Bobby Tabuada.
Mm-hmm.
I've had Michael Heron.
Mm-hmm.
I had Roger Egbulis.
Mm-hmm.
Nene Tortal.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Manglanong.
Ricky Lazo, Jack Latour.
Ricky Lazo.
Reno Ballinado.
What?
Reno Ballinado.
Yep, Reno.
Yep.
Marlena Hafano.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Other events that I've hosted, I've had Let me see. Oh, Nene. Is it Nene Tortel? Nene. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's from Toronto. I've let other people use my facilities.
Right.
Oh, here we go. People, you know who else I've let use my facilities? Let's go down the list. Tom Bolden, Jerome Barber, Bram Frank. Hell, Bram Frank used my school when I was in Denmark. I wasn't even in the country.
Right.
So I've had, let's think about this. Okay, Max Palin was there.
Yep.
Okay. Now, here we go. Chuck Goss, Kenny Smith.
Yep.
Rich Parsons.
Dieter.
And I just said, it. You had GM Palin too. I just
right.
The time thing. Yep. Expand your online training program. Yeah.
I think he's asking you to do that. I mean, you've got the MAU.
I've had an online training program, so I've been doing. We'll get down that path. You know.
Okay.
So, cued Mark DeLeon for Kuntao and Sikaran.
Yep.
And I know there's more people, but of course this is off the top of my head, so I don't have that list. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. So, I've done all these things to promote a family vibe and feeling, to promote Filipino martial arts as a whole, to promote camaraderie. I've also, when you look at things, where have I been invited to teach? Kombatan Super Camp over in Finland. We were June had us at the event in the Balintawak invasion down in Virginia. I went over to the FMA exploration that Sam Boo had before he passed away. There's a whole list of events that we've been invited to participate and to promote that camaraderie, to promote FMA.
And those are just FMA events, not to mention that I think there's another part of doing the work, which is MA events. Have those sprinkled in as well, because I think it matters.
Well, obviously the gathering.
This last weekend too,
and
the week before last.
Symposium. Yep. And now I'm going to go up to the main gathering.
Yep.
We were a regular over at the teaching at Alan Goldberg's event.
Yep, action. And of course, I do the Bushi-no-Te, which is there's a large FMA contingent just because I and Abel are there.
Yep. And there's other things that we can go through that list.
So we mix it up. We're trying to do some work.
Right. Now, so that, it goes a long way of getting the word out both in and out of the industry. Now, we're always trying to push and help. Now, obviously, right now with post-COVID, my focus now is specifically on Modern Arnis because it needs more help than any of the other arts that like in Balintawak. Okay, I do Balintawak, and I was doing stuff, and I have elements of Balintawak that other people don't have because the grouping method is the most popular methodology right now. But there's a bunch of things that aren't taught during the grouping method that are taught in the ungrouped methodology. Just like I think there's things in the grouping methodology that the ungrouped methodology would benefit from. Mm-hmm. So it's not a one-way street. All sides have something good to offer.
And that's another group that are interacting with each other and getting along well and sharing these kinds of things. Yep.
So, but I want to, and before we go, I think, so written curriculum is huge. Trying to put things together to help organize things so it's better teaching, like how I've restructured the angles of attack, and like you've done. I would do the first 5 angles before I taught the rest of them because it was easier doing more of a Cinco Terros type mindset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets the ball rolling. When I would teach in seminars, I remember Dan Anderson, when he attended one of my things, he was surprised. He liked my approach because I did forehand, backhand, thrust, and overhead. It's really, I'm going to hit you on the right side, I'm going to hit you on the left side, I'm going to poke you in the belly, or hit you on the top.
Right.
Left, right, front, or overhead. That's where most of the strikes are going to come from. And yes, we're talking about the norms, not the exceptions. Yeah, I can come up from underneath. We know that. I can do all this other stuff. But we're talking about if Oh, you know another thing we got to do is if we want a system to go up front, know the difference between the fantasy world and reality. Knowing the difference of what will really happen versus, like today we're talking about. I was doing one of my series where I'm doing my stick boxing, so I'm doing the block, check, counter, puño strike. I pass this over, I punch the face, and then I pass this into like a police into an armbar. Great flow, works a lot of attributes. It's not very practical.
Right.
And I talked about it. I go, listen. And what I did as an example today, I went 1, 2, 3, hit the ribs. That'll fold you. Okay. So then I pass this over and I punch you in the face, or I palm heel. Well, that could probably push you out of range, and you might not be there for me to do the rest of the technique. But as an exercise, and this is the point I think, listen, if I don't push the person as an exercise, I control everything that's in my sphere of influence. But then a couple times what I did, I had Tyler, Ryan's brother, and I went through here and I hit him on the shoulder. And I said, well, what if Shia comes at me? You know what Shia did? She started coming at me.
Nice.
Never tell her. Well,
Nice.
So when I palm heeled Tyler, it shoved him into her and acted as a barrier. But, and that wasn't the intent, but I was going to use it that way. But it blew my armbar.
Right.
And that's not the thing that I wasn't going for the armbar. The armbar was a bonus because we happened to be there. And I remember one guy saying when I was over at the gathering, this one guy said, here's what can happen. I go block, check, counter, and the guy counters. I slap this off. They block that when I go like this and block this. And that stuff happens. I'm like, what the hell are you smoking? Because that shit don't happen. Maybe in your dreams it does.
In classroom play, it'll happen, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, realistically.
That's different. Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing. I think the differentiation. People need to understand, hey, what's classroom play and exploration, and what is reality? Those two things aren't the same. They are both useful. They are both illustrative, and you'll learn and understand your art from both of them. But keep the context.
So, a bunch of people have heard this, and I'm just gonna. This is my last comment about realism. Before I go on to the next thing, but I'm going to have you answer the question for me because you already know the answer. So
Maybe.
People have heard me say this, but hey, remember that one time in the Philippines when we were coming back from Lanada Park, and we were doing the documentary when they were following us around the Philippines? Remember that?
Yep.
Fighting Sticks of the Philippines, aka Tim Hartman's Adventure of the Philippines. Remember that video?
Excellent adventure. Yes.
Excellent adventure. Yeah. Well, I don't want to do it because it'd be too much like Dave, Bill and Ted.
Probably had to pay trademark things, and now we're going to get kicked off.
Party on.
That's right.
And Rich was there too. Yep.
Rich was there too, and that PG Craig guy
wasn't there, but Craig was there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Craig's there. You can call BS on this if you want to, Craig. Hey, what happened when we were walking back to the hotel from Lanada Park, which is like Mecca for the FMA world? And there were like 200 Filipino martial artists hanging out there. What happened on our way back to the hotel?
Impromptu scuffle with people grabbing all sorts of implements of destruction, mainly bricks, and getting ready to throw down as we kept walking through.
So a street brawl broke out.
So it ended up behind us when it really happened. But yes, we saw it.
It started all about 20 plus people, would you say?
It was hands.
Was anyone doing any kung fu fighting or anything that resembled Filipino martial arts?
No, I would have stayed and been interested in that case.
We would have taken notes on that one. So the weapon of choice, and I remember when I first went, I went with Rick Manglanong. He goes, listen, Tim, you got to watch it over there. No one's going to do this stick fighting shit. They're going to take a brick and smash your skull in.
There you go. Yep.
Hey, Craig, does that story sound good to you or accurate to you? I'll let him chime in on that.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Yep.
Bricks, rocks, and anything they could grab.
Yep.
Okay. So this whole idea, this fantasy, or this romance, we're in the Philippines, that everyone's in a screamador, and was it Human Weapon or whatever? And they
right.
They happen to bump into Gina Lynn.
Right.
Oh, look, everyone does do Filipino martial arts. No, the people who are part of the skit. Stop it. Oh, here we go. Hey, Terry, I'll call him tomorrow. Let's make a plan tomorrow.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
If I'll message him later tonight. So, hey, Terry, thanks for watching tonight.
Yeah, this is like a coffee shop, FMA coffee shop. Here we go.
Listen, And so we're going to do a wrap-up show on FMA discussion. Terry's an awesome host. You should think about going there. And next year, he's got the dates of the event already. Was it like the April 21st or something?
I don't think he set the final one, but around the same time, yes.
Oh, he had the actual date.
Yeah, but I don't think he said it was firm yet. I can't remember.
Was that it? Terry, what's the date?
There we go. Maybe he'll say now.
And he will show everyone how they can make it, put a little something in their pocket for bringing people if you do it right.
He does an awesome event with the right attitude, even though it's so big with so many bigwigs. It's amazing.
Yeah. So it is also the weekend that it'll be this. If it's the same weekend, ends up being the 2 years in a row that it's the same weekend that I was promoted to GM in 9th degree by Ernesto. And next year I am there. Yep, there we go. So
Excellent.
So we'll have the gang there because Craig and I are going to go. Craig, by the way, we're going early because the Superfoot Wallace session on Friday is included. So you need to get there Thursday so we can leave either Thursday or first thing in the morning before the crack of dawn.
Yeah, I want Bill to hurt you. I mean, train you.
Yeah. Or both. Which Bill's coming to Buffalo. We haven't set a date, but that's going to be happening.
Fun guy.
And Craig says, "Yep."
Excellent.
All right. So in there, that stuff don't happen. So I mean, we got to be realistic. And now, listen, if you want to do historical combat, by all means, but just make sure you're telling your people this. We've got to make sure that if we can do art, sport, combat. For me, the tip of the spear, the self-defense is the tip of that spear. It has to be always part of it. It's not the only part of the spear, but that's the tip.
Well, and that fits Remy's emphasis from my perspective. He was interested in that regard.
Remy taught self-defense based on Filipino concepts. He didn't build stick fighters, where a lot of these other guys are building stick fighters, but I don't think they'd be good at self-defense as a whole because they're always gearing for that trained opponent.
Yep, depending.
And unrealistic situations where, well, I got to stick too.
Yep.
I mean, how many of you guys out there have sticks packed away like I do?
If I'm in my car, I can get a bazillion of them.
Yeah, but when you're in the men's room,
that's right. I just got one stick then.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's a pocket stick.
Pocket stick, corto bastan.
Mm-hmm.
And not every situation merits pulling out this tool.
Yep.
So when Janice and I had that road rage incident, I knew where my knife was, but I didn't pull it.
Right.
Because that would also give the person the justification to pull out a firearm if that's what he had.
Right. You probably were thinking more of your flashlight, if I'm thinking right.
I was thinking about punching the guy in the face.
Well, yeah.
I was thinking, make sure the knife doesn't fall out.
Right.
And I was thinking crashing in. I wasn't even, listen, this is my everyday carry right here. When everyone does all these collections, listen, I got all this shit. Listen,
this
flashlight. There we go. That's for you guys.
Yep. I did that to you last time.
I got my Smith & Wesson pen, but it doesn't shoot. That was the disappointing. That was very disappointing. I've had travel wrenches, Kelly Warden's travel wrench. I had all that other stuff, but you know what? I don't carry that stuff. I mean, I don't. Okay, listen. I carried the travel wrench for a little bit. Every tool I get, I had something like a little batarang looking thing that was pretty cool. It was a variation. It was an artistic version of the travel wrench. It was like one big hole, and it looked like a batarang but different. And I've had all those stuff, and I carried it for like a short period of time, and I put it away.
Right.
But my go-to is not. I mean, going to a weapon means I'm thinking, okay, I don't care what the weapon is. I'm thinking lethal use of. Here we go. Gotta have that travel wrench. But my mindset is if I weaponize my attacks, it's a weapon, which means I'm intentionally going to do bodily harm or try to kill the person. When I pull out a stick, I'm not thinking about subduing someone. I'm thinking about knocking their skull in. And if I have that stick, either they are so much larger than me or there's so many more of them.
Becomes primal and a much more death intent in that case.
Listen, I've been in fights. And when I have a real life encounter, I get very visceral. Mm-hmm. I remember, so Primo, who was my MMA fighter, we were rolling the one time. We were doing stand up all the way to the ground. Rolled to the ground. Yeah, Tim. Yeah. He took me down to the ground. We went in. I rolled into a stack of aerobic steps, the Reebok steps. I grabbed the top one. I chambered it, ready to hit it, and then I dropped and tapped out because we weren't playing that game.
Right.
But that was a student that I liked.
No, you still like him.
Hey, Sam, I love the guy. He's family. He's La Familia.
Right. Yep.
But my knee-jerk reaction is different when I'm in that visceral mode. Things that I don't want to say, well, I see red and I'm dangerous. No, but when I'm in a fight, I'm not thinking logically. I'm thinking, I'm gonna smash.
If you have time to think in a fight, you're not in a fight.
No. And and then we talked about other things. We talked to some guys when I was over at I love going to Terry's because they got some high speed dudes there.
Yep.
And the one guy's like, said, how many life threatening situations have you been in? And I'm like, well, theoretically they all are, but I've never felt. The only time I thought my life was in jeopardy is when I was jumped. My friend of mine were jumped by 9 guys. And we did a little act. I did a little acting when I got hit a couple times, and they let us go, and yada yada yada. That was the only time. Well, there was a time. Okay, there was a time a guy pulled a shotgun on me at a party, and I'm like, dude, we're out of here. And we got out of there because people were drinking and there was firearms, and I'm like, no, we're done. We are done. But other than that, I really never felt in fear for my life. So I haven't had that life. Now, I will say this, the guy I worked with so Canada, the drinking age is 19. New York is 21. We're on the border. So it's very common for people. I used to do it too with my friends. We'd go over to Canada to go drink and come back. And a guy I used to work with, him and his buddy got jumped. The guy cold cocked his friend. It knocked him out, hit the ground, and he died from hitting his head on the curb. So every situation can be life-threatening.
Yep.
But,
getting up in the morning.
You can fall down the stairs. Hell, Ricky Lazo fell in my house. I don't know how that, And the dogs had nothing to do with it. He could have easily got wrecked. He was fine, but, I've almost fell down the stairs all by myself. So, yeah. So I think when we talk about, that's the thing, is if we're going to talk about martial arts, we need to talk about the difference between art, sport, and combat and educate our people properly. I think that, because, here's the problem. When people go in and they have one of those, life-changing moments because something real happened around them and they found out they were out of their depth because maybe they were taught as an artistic expression and self-defense was never part of the equation. I think people leave the art because of that.
I think it behooves everybody to keep that, keep a reasonable effort on perspective and context. Otherwise, it's not fair to yourself and people you're training. You need to have that part of your training, context and perspective.
Listen, you and I are part of a cadre that teaches at the Virginia Police Academy. Those are people we cannot let down. We have to teach them properly, and we can't do stuff out of our depth. And that's why we're with John and others who know their part. We know ours. We each have a different role in this thing. And,
we come together as a team to make sure that stuff is all on track.
Exactly. And that's my point. It's not a thing about, and after talking to our friend who's been going to all the schools as of late, he's like, yeah, the next time I hear some clown saying I teach police, he's gonna give him an earful, because just because there's a police officer as a client, that doesn't mean you're teaching the police. It means someone came to you off duty for training. Completely different animal.
Yep.
So,
totally.
And we have to make sure that we're selling things. Oh, here's Dale. Hey, Dale, we got to talk this week. Greetings from Western New York. How are you doing? Stay safe. I have a travel wrench too. And agree that it's a good idea not grabbing a weapon right away. Yep.
Everybody will escalate. Yep. No, good to hear from you, Dale. And again, thanks for your note the other day too.
Dale's asking about the camp. So
good.
Hopefully he's thinking about Dale, we'll talk this week. Let me know it's a good time. I'm available most days. If it's evenings, it's usually after 8 o'clock. So, so what are we doing to change things? What are we doing to, here we are talking about we got to do something, and we're talking about all the wrong things, but what are the right things that we could do? So we talk about sharing the information properly. We're talking about having a structure, a syllabus that can be used as a guideline. And I would say a guideline, not molded in clay, not carved in stone.
There you
go. What else are you thinking there that can help us out?
Well, I did bring up the point about some people are, the various branches are coming together, and I think that's a solid thing that helps when you can do it. And there are, pieces of that here too. So good.
I've got one I'm holding off on because I want to talk about what we're doing in the organization.
Right. But I think, I don't know, is it, if it's more on my line or what you're talking about? So the idea then of having the, cross-pollinating, doing the work and interacting with the larger FMA community, I think that's important. It's not the thing that keeps your individual art going. It's the one that keeps all of it going. And if all of it's going, then it still helps your individual one.
Well, here's what I'm also. Oh, hey, Renee, where have you been?
Renee.
You can comment on the classical forms that GGM and Abanico Dublade with his system. We learned to differentiate what worked and what was trained was part of the training process. Perfect for training purposes. Perfect example, Mike.
Yeah, and the context perspective thread. Yep, definitely.
Yep, there we go. See, a lot of people don't do that. Well, that's something we have to make sure that we talk about. And of course, we've got the mask discriminator here. Not to be confused with the mask comic, although they do have the same paper bag, I think.
There you go.
So I'm gonna hit listen. This is a rant, and I have a solution. This is the model that we're using in our organization. And by all means, since I'm putting it out in public, feel free to use this. Now, what I don't like, and there's been a pattern as of late, where it seems to be a thing of promoting people for no tangible reason. Now, promoting people to higher level ranks. Now, we use a belting system in Modern, and I'm seeing a bunch of 7th, 8th, 10th degree Grandmaster promotions. And in Modern Arnis, there's only one Grandmaster, and that was the 10th degree Remy Praces. And there could only be one in the system at a time. And what people are using, it seems to be a hybrid of the Combatant model, which I'm not commenting negatively on, but that was Ernesto's methodology. And a lot of people in the Philippines that are talking about promoting Modern Arnis came from that. So some of the Europeans, they came from that. But that is not a Modern Arnis thing. That is an Ernesto Praces Combatant thing. And then now the 7th degree promotions, I think they're modeling after the DKI mindset. Because in DKI, you're a GM at 7th degree. All right. But as Remy set up his art, Remy Praces Modern Arnis, there would only be one. And we've talked about that in the Pink Book. When he re-released it, it was 50 plus years of training. And he still there was only one 10th degree black belt, and that was him. So with all these recent promotions as of late, I think it's silly because what are they doing? And some people aren't even promoting Modern Arnis by name. It's part of their synthesis. So what? Oh, Dillman Karate International. Sorry, Chris. He's in stealth mode.
First comment, yeah. Welcome, Chris.
But here's the deal. What we've decided, or what I've decided, and the guys are backing me on this. So, and listen, we when people have been left out in the cold for the shuffle, because when things went out, we take care of people. Some people would have been promoted by Professor years ago, but there was no one there to do it for them, and they didn't feel coming out. Okay, just home from training. Okay. So, what we do now is for 3rd degree. And I've always done this. When people got a 1st degree black belt with me, I gave them an option from there. I go, for your 2nd degree, do you want to work on curriculum, or do you want to produce black belts for me? And that was their test. And I've had multiple people come up that way and say, no, I want to give back to the art and produce black belts. and that's what I did. But I'll be very upfront. I was a greedy bastard. I wasn't thinking about producing more black belts for the art when I first started. I was thinking about if my students were black belt qualities, that means they were great training partners for this guy right here.
Absolutely. Yep.
I produced the best training partners I could make.
Yep.
And one of the benefits of that is that professor many times saw them and said, well, you're a black belt based on what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't a black belt factory. And at the time, professor only charged $30 for a black belt test. Right. He did change it at the very end or near the end. But, if you went to a camp, it was $30. If you did it on your own, the price would vary. If you didn't do it at a camp, I should say. Because if you're paying $300 for the camp, he only charged you an extra $30 for the test. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you were just testing, I'd ask them for people in Buffalo, what if they just want to test for you directly and not go to camp? Oh, it's $100. Okay. So what we've decided is in our Modern Arnis platform, to get a third-degree black belt, you need to have 2 teaching credits. Well, what's a teaching credit? Well, you need to produce a black belt. Mm-hmm. If you can produce 2 teaching credits, which means that's 2 first-degree black belts or 1 second-degree. Okay. So if you have someone pass their second-degree test, that promotes you to third degree or 2 first degrees. Mm-hmm. For third-degree black belt, you need to have 4 black belts. And for 4 credits, and for 5th-degree black belt, you need to have 8 credits. Now, this could be any combination. It's a cumulative. It's not a brand new one. It's not you need to give me two black belts for first degree now, and then another 4 later. They give me the same 2 black belts. So let's say I had a
at their next rank. Yeah.
So I'm a first degree black belt. I tested I was a black belt and then went first degree. So we don't do that anymore. I just save that for our virtual trainers. But so our big thing here is, all right, we're gonna what I do now is produce 2 black belts. Great. All right. So you're now a third degree black belt. All right, to get your 4th, you need to take these 2 guys to second degree, or you need 4 new people, right, or any combination thereof.
Well, it's very clear then, because then you don't get the weird questions of, hey, so you're a 6th degree black belt. How many 4th degrees have you made or are you in the process of making? That's the next question people are going to get, right? Because usually in most styles you can promote up to 2 below what you are in a lot of styles. But that's a general question you tend to get.
So that way, listen, so let's say we only produce first degree black belts.
Well, then there's a bazillion.
Okay. So to become a 5th degree black belt in most styles, that's acknowledged at a master. And in our basic modern, you were a guru before black, but
right,
but really you're certified instructor by then,
right.
Black belt. Okay. I love the art with weapons, and the context y'all mentioned helps. I recall a few metaphors and analogies like a plane pilot, stick fighter versus single stick situations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you mean like someone, yeah. There's someone using a stick doesn't make them a stick fighter. They can be fighting with a stick, but yeah.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. Did I read that right?
I think. And then Neil said, thanks for teaching up in Canada.
Oh,
you saw that. Yeah.
No problem.
And Neil,
pleasure.
And thanks for watching all the videos and liking and commenting. That's awesome. Yeah.
So Neil's, if I'm remembering right, Neil trained with Remy back in the day. He's in London. He's one of the guys that talked about, I want back in. Let's do this.
There you go.
So, if it's the person I'm thinking of. So, which, I said there, and I'll say it again now. Welcome back to the family.
Yep. Absolutely, Darren.
I'm convinced
that's how we do it.
Only training me to have someone else to have fun and play with. Yep. There you go. So, so if we're going to say you're a 5th degree black belt, okay, if you earned it with us, earned it, not necessarily that we crossed you in or took care of something from Remy, like if you were an orphan, you may have gotten there a little different, but if you came up the ranks through us, for a third degree black belt in modern, you would have produced 2 black belts. You would have done 4 black belts. If you were a 4th, you'd have done 8 black belts as a 5th. And I think producing 8 black belts is probably a good criteria to become a 5th degree black belt.
Mm-hmm. That could be 2 4ths, which would be pretty rare, right? But it could be like a 3rd and some 1sts. You know, there's a bunch of ways to do it.
Okay, there we go. Back in the 80s and the 90s. Yep.
Excellent.
Okay, so and then it continues from there. It doesn't stop there. It continues.
Right.
And listen, we have plenty of curriculum as well. But we've had on the show, and listen, I am not faulting the people we're talking about. Remy rewarded a lot of people for their efforts. But only a handful of us were producing black belts. I produced 21 black belts. I don't know of anyone else who produced 21 black belts for Remy outside the Philippines. I don't know of anyone who did that in the Philippines because I don't know the numbers in the Philippines. I don't know. I can't make a comment one way or another. So there's a big question mark there. But outside the Philippines, nobody produced that many black belts for Remy. And it wasn't just first degrees. All right, I had Lacans and Dayangs, then firsts, seconds, and thirds. Here, you can read that one because I don't want to see.
Dale says, how can you best support the students that are then expected to become better teachers? Having curriculum and writing helps, but that would be one topic to consider. I went to college for physical education. Yeah, curriculum helps guide both sides.
So, and now here's the little caveat we have in there. So what happens if you've got an in-house student?
Right.
Okay. What happens is the head instructor will umbrella them as providing that student is contributing. So like George Harris is a wonderful example. Everyone that comes through my door, he's helping. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care. He pays it forward. Yeah, I think he also likes better training partners too. But I mean, the thing here is, it's hard for all the black belt. Like Ryan Sleds, who's going for his 3rd degree. Carl, who's going for his 3rd degree.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys have helped teach in my school, time and time again.
Mm-hmm. Well, like my guy who hopefully is going to her 3rd or something like that, he's gotten several that he's helped me with.
There you go. So it's not a black and white situation. So there are, when someone says, well, that's good and all, but what about the black belts that stay in your school?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they're contributing to the product, they get credit for that.
I think that's good and fair. It's both of those, not just fair and not just good, because it helps everybody.
Now, here's another one. Let's flip it around. Here's the other model. So let's say Ty has only 4 students, but each of those students have schools of their own. And as they produce black belts, he gets partial credit for that. And that pushes him up because he's coaching those four students, those 4 instructors, those chief instructors of their old locations, and they're doing the work based on the work that he's doing for that. So it's not, we have this whole formula we work out. But the thing here is we need to stop promoting people and start producing people. I'm seeing a trend.
Building instead of recognizing.
They know who they are.
But building instead of just recognizing.
Blessing people, giving promotions. And how does that help the art? Especially when these people aren't even doing modern Arnis as a primary system.
Right. But so to be clear, you're talking about building people and not just recognizing people, right? One creates and the other names, right?
Yep. Okay. Just promoting
the scheme. Yeah.
Yep. And then here we go.
I like Bob's comment.
It's
sort of true, but that's not a bad thing. When we're trying to get spread things, that's exactly a model you might use as long as there's content and skill.
I didn't want them to realize it was the Amway thing.
There you go. But it's what better way to spread things than like a disease?
Listen, it can be fun that way, but that's another thing.
That's right.
Here's an example. Lulu. Bad, Robert. Bad. And then ew for Mr. Davison. Let's think about this. Modern Arnis, Buffalo had 10 modern Arnis training programs, 10 different schools or schools that offered modern Arnis as a side dish or whatever. If each of those instructors would have produced 10 people.
Right.
Yep. Modern Amway, LOL. If that would have given us, just for those alone, not the other black belts that were produced, but let's say just them, that would have given Buffalo 110 modern Arnis black belts. What a gene pool to make sure modern Arnis would have continued. At least in the Western New York area.
Yep.
You know. How many, you go to any other area, how many people have done that or even attempted to do that?
Right.
Hey, let's say it this way. What do we decide we have in the World Modern Arnis Alliance? Let me see. I'm a first generation. You're a first generation. Chad's a first generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and there's others. But we'll just talk about you and I because we're on the show. We can talk about this.
And we can talk back.
Yeah, we can turn people off.
Defend ourselves, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. I'm not going to write a check for somebody else's, that they can't cash for them. So,
yep.
So we both have students teaching, right?
Yep.
And don't we both have black belts that have black belt students?
Yep.
Go figure.
And layer deeper than that too.
Okay, so I know I have a third. Okay, so not from Remy, from going through the Remy lineage. Me, so you and I are first generation. Second, I got third generation students out there teaching programs,
teaching seminars,
on
top of teaching their students.
Yep. Oh, here we go. I'll let you read that one.
That's a beauty. I saw it on the side and I had to smile. So Brock, our friend Brock in Pennsylvania, says, doesn't matter how many 10th degree black belts an organization or system has if they're not bringing in white belts. Ground up, baby.
There you go. So when I see these people trying to collect titles and belts and all this other stuff.
That's the second gold star for the show, by the way.
I just gave it a hashtag fact.
There you go. There
we go. So I actually starred that one.
Nice.
I don't know what it does on you guys, but for me, it's got a star.
For me, it glows blue.
Yep, it goes blue with this. There we go. So, when it comes to title, that was the other thing. They were busting my chops because of my title.
Right. That you didn't give yourself.
No, I didn't give myself.
Yep.
But you know what? I don't give a shit about any of these titles because, the titles don't make me. I make the freaking title. Everybody has the opportunity to make or break the ranks or titles they have.
Yep.
So I remember when I came up, and here, I don't fool myself. I watched this guy come up. Guy I liked a lot. Guy was a full contact fighter. Good box, badass. Didn't move well, but he could get the job done. And I remember him testing for his 4th degree. My test was the following year. And this guy is a friend of mine and deserves all the recognition that he got. He got his 4th degree, but in my mind, I'm not letting that define my rank because that was not a good test. But he could do it. But he's one of those guys that didn't look pretty when he hit you, but you feel it in your toes, and he could do all the techniques, but it just didn't have the right vibe to it. Well, because it was modern Arnis, and that was the art within your art, not the art by itself.
Yep.
And even though it was compatible, it didn't always work. Oh, what was this?
Actually, more important than promotion. Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody's getting it. We can go home now. Oh wait, I am home. You are home too.
Show's over.
Yep.
But I mean, at the end of the day, when I tested, I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm going to let that flow. Yep. I wasn't going to let that be the definition of my rank. I redefined most of the ranks as I went up because I actually tested for them, where most people who have similar ranks that I do, they weren't tested. Not by Remy. I mean, listen, we test our students on a day-to-day basis, but what I'm saying is they went on the mat in front of everybody to prove what they got. And that's how
laid it on the table. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you don't have to like what I do, but you can't say that I'm not a gamer. I mean, you were there when in the Philippines, when I got cup shotted without wearing a cup with a hunk of rattan with the padded sticks in the Philippines are not that padded, by the way.
Yep.
Proof's in the pudding. I remember I went to a tournament that his teacher, that Chris's teacher, that I competed, just to do, because I brought the kids, and if they're going to compete, I'm going to lead from the front, not the back.
There you go.
I went out there, hand form was okay, and then came time to do the weapons form, ended up being the grand champion that day. They're all like, yeah, we had to give it to you. Why? Because you're the only one that scared us, that thought you could actually kill somebody.
And it wasn't you shouting "kill, kill, kill" every move.
Oh no. I was using my Taliban, and like, right. Yeah, no. You, yeah.
Good. Well, that's how it should be, right? You should see the opponents getting their just desserts. If you can do that.
They didn't see the entrails, but
right. No, but if they can see that because of the moves, then it's good.
Oh, let's see. What was that? There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought they were supposed to have hashtag in front of that again, Chris.
So, listen, people out there, if you guys want to use our ideas, they're out there for a reason. That's why we also, like Dean had us on the show about for professional schools, why I've done FMA professionals and all this other stuff. While we're doing the show, we want this knowledge going on. Now, listen, you don't have to like our opinion.
Nice. Nice.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now I have a picture of you like doing your forms in a tutu or something. That doesn't sound great.
But, we want all the arts to flourish. We don't want it to be one art. It could be ours. We're the best. But anyways, I promote Praesis Arnis. Why? Because I do both arts. I don't want to favor one side of the family or the other. All three brothers are very near and dear to me.
Yep.
Hey. But what and I think the Praesis family legacy is more important than Combatan or Modern or Hinigran or Nistamano. And I know there's people out there who've never heard of Praesis.
Right.
So, like Parker's Kempo, I go with Praesis Arnis.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were talking about this the other day. Remember, Abel and I, for the longest time, we're just calling it Remy Praesis Modern Arnis, just to make sure that connection was there.
Yeah, it was Ingmar Johansson used to sign his things. Parker, they didn't like it was Parker. It was Kempo Karate, and Mr. Parker didn't call it American Karate or American Kempo. Others did. So the Europeans didn't like it. It was like, hey, we're not in America. It's Kempo Karate. Right. So then they started saying Ed Parker's Kempo Karate, and Parker's Kempo Karate, Parker's Kempo. And it was the students that called it that, not Mr. Parker.
Right.
He just called it. He never named it after himself. And that's what I started doing. And it was Ingmar who did the same. He inspired me to do it that way. So here we're both doing the same thing, not knowing with different reasons. I mean, for the same reason, but different inspiration.
Independently, yeah.
And that's why I talk more these days about more Remy Praesis Modern Arnis, because. Listen, for years, the brothers all used the same name, but their physical expression was different. The names had to be changed because
and their material was different.
Credit for their innovations.
Yeah, their material became different, not just the flavor of it.
Compatible, but different.
Yep.
But some of the people who've come up underneath that, they say, no, it was Modern because that's what it was called. Stop it. You know better. You know the material's different.
I believe there's a word for that. Equivocation.
Denial?
Equivocation.
Okay.
Sorry, there I go using words again.
Yeah, well, how dare you?
Yep.
How dare you, sir?
Complimentary. There you go.
Complimentary, yep. You know what? Compatibility and complimentary.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris, I'm gold starring that one.
There you go.
I got two gold stars today.
Yep. Plus the one that we didn't gold star way at the beginning, but yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
So, 3. There we go. 3. Boom. Shakalaka. So, but by all means, listen, you guys want to use this idea of ours or use something like that, or, you want to reach out to me and say, hey, can I bounce some ideas off you? Sure. I'm here for that. We're both here for that. I mean, it's easier to get a hold of me because this is what I do for a living.
And I don't answer the phone, except for a few people.
I'm lucky. But a lot of times I'll call them and I'll get a message back. In a meeting now. Yeah. He's
At work, somebody said. Was that Renee?
work.
Yeah. I was at home today because I'm not allowed to go to work for right now.
And I didn't pester you either. I let you go.
Yep.
That was nice of me, I thought. Oh, I gotta see. Evidently, we've been getting. Oh, nothing. Nothing I have to worry about. I like keeping my Facebook Messenger open to my other screen because sometimes people message me.
Sure.
And they coax me into saying things.
They're helping.
Like,
hey, participation. How you want to do it? Please, we welcome all sorts of participation on the show.
Yeah, well, if you say certain words on the show, somebody has to do a shot.
Our show, or is it Dean's show?
No, only when Dean is on the show.
There you go.
Sorry, Mr. N out there. If he's still watching, he's like, you bastards.
It's only because we like him. Look, if we're busting chops, that's one thing I like about the group was we bust chops of ourselves and people that we like, which is to me a very bonding, very human thing to do.
Okay, if you're going to hang with us, let me just throw you a little logic out here. First of all, you got to have a thick skin. Secondly, self-deprecation goes a long way. You take the shot on yourself before anyone else, because we're like friggin' piranha and barracuda. When there's blood in the water, everyone goes after it.
Yep.
And Ty has stepped up his game because Chad hasn't been around because of work. And my goodness, I am constantly doing stuff left, right, and the other. Oh, okay, here we go.
Tagaan Arnis Kawala Filipino
So
Martial.
that's Cued Mark.
Ah, okay.
So Cued Mark has officially retired his club. They're up in Scarborough, and Canada's really they're just beginning to. I went up. Okay, so when I was up in Canada, I was shocked on how many people were wearing masks. The students are still doing stuff, but I'm going to go up there and talk more once things. The students are, but a lot of it fell apart because they shut down. They open back up. They shut back down. They open back up. They shut back down.
That's tough.
We didn't have that issue. Nowhere's near. I mean, we didn't shut back down. We just had mask mandate, no mask mandate, mask mandate, no mask mandate. So, but once we opened back, we were shut down for 4 months, and then it was it. Boom, done. For martial arts, other things had some issues, but martial arts were fine. Those guys had complete total shutdown, and I don't think they could handle another shutdown. Craig's got a church across the street. They can have 150 people, but his home Joe couldn't have 20.
Right. Well, that kind of, start-stop thing is worse than, something you can adapt to, because now you're constantly, anyway, it's horrible for business.
Yes, it is. So let's wrap some things up here because we're talking in circles.
Yep. We got a few comments from Chris.
First of all, they were at your Labanlaro. Great competitors. Yes, they were. Yes. And you don't have to call me GM. Listen, everyone here, my name's Tim. So I'm going to talk about this. So we almost had a different name for me, unfortunately, because of where it is. We couldn't go by it. So the last fling that Ty did that I was at, he asked everybody to do not to. He goes, what's everyone's name by? And I go, Tim, what should I put you down? He didn't put me down as Tim. And then I had my Mighty Pie, and then afterwards I go, for the Mighty Python reference, I go, the Mighty Wizard Tim. Unfortunately, there's a clan presence in his neighborhood, and we didn't want them to get confused with a Grand Wizard or anything like that. And so we decided to stick with Tim. But someone said Sorcerer Supreme Tim, and I'm like, okay, we can do the Sorcerer Tim, the Mighty Sorcerer Tim.
There you go.
But yes, we are doing some promotion. So Dexter, by all means, if you want to talk about something, I can send you some. Hey, do you do the Modern Arnis University, by the way? Uh-oh. I can only be Cyclops when I do this. Hold on, wait a minute.
There you go.
Okay. Actually, let me do it. Let me see if I can do it right. Okay, hold on, Ty.
There you go. Yep.
Okay. It's an entertaining show, to say the least. Dude, I do like... So, I experimented with my camera. I was able to zoom out. I really do like this. I don't like it where my whole head's at, because I also look like I'm bigger. I'm like
Big giant head.
Big giant heads. I'm like, dude, we already know I got the giant ego. I don't need to prove to everybody.
That's what they say anyway. But you're self-deprecating like the rest of us, so it works out fine.
The door behind me, that's where the gimp is.
There you go.
So this is actually this is called the dollhouse. This is the room that this will be Rich's room. I got 2 single beds that are actually combined together, and they form one giant bed. Oh wait, no, that's Voltron. So
which might be just comfortable.
Yeah. Right now, I don't. Your room, by the way, I don't think you have a roommate this year.
Oh wow.
We're waiting to see what happens. So, other the videos on Vimeo a while back. Been studying them on my own. Good. You know what? We're going to be refilming, and the good thing about Vimeo is I'll be uploading them over. So first of all, I would say download those videos so you have a permanent copy. And then when I upload the new versions over the old ones, you'll still get access. You won't have to pay extra for the updated version, because we do have a curriculum update. Email me tomorrow or whatever, or email me whenever, and I'll send you the written curriculum that we're using. Ty can room with Tyr. Oh, yeah. Tyr doesn't like Ty like that.
No, but he definitely doesn't like Larry.
Yeah, he just doesn't like Larry shutting the door.
That's right.
Yeah. So listen, if any of you guys who are no problem, Dexter, or do you like Dex? What do you like? And don't say whatever you want, Datu, because no, it's whatever you want, sir. So if there are people out there that are looking, well, here's what we're doing for the World Modern Arnis Alliance. We are umbrelling people for this next year as a trial for them to try things out with us. So we network with them. We put their schools on our website. We put events up that they're doing that are Modern Arnis based, or whether they're hosting or teaching themselves. We don't tell you how to run your school. Okay, just email me and remind me. We won't tell people how to run their school. We just sit there and say, if you want certification through us, this is the criteria you follow. That's all. But I'm also there to help people how to make their schools more efficient if they want that advice. If your school's doing better than me, then I doubt you need my advice. But if you're looking to try things from different things, just let us know. All right. Catch you later, Rich. So, but the big thing here is we're here to help a lot of people, and we've promoted independence over the years because they were left out in the cold. We also have taken people in who've been out on their own, and they joined and want to be part of us for a while. And I would recommend take advantage of our sponsorship and see if it's a good vibe. And if not, there's a Dex or Dexter. Okay. No problem. Oh, well, who? That's this. And then, here we go. Wait a minute. Costa Rica. Oh, Costa Rica's best. Okay. Email. Okay. Email me tomorrow. And we'll talk. Because we'll see if you fall underneath that criteria, i.e. the system. But datutim@gmail.com. And in 1985, yeah, we're okay. And then Eric says, okay, good. All right, cool. So let's go through the list because we keep going on circles. So first of all, I would say you need to work with the FMA and open martial art community. I am the sole representative of Modern Arnis in Costa Rica, as far as I know. Would you like a visitor? I'd be more than happy to come down.
There you go.
Hey, I'm getting my 29th state in August. 29 out of the 50, so I'm happy. When it was my 25th year as a black belt, I hit my 25th state, and then other things happened, including COVID, and that slowed me down. But I'm hitting 29, which I did the map wrong. I put Maine on there accidentally, but left Rhode Island out. It was the other way around. So once I do Maine, that completes the entire East Coast, the coastal states, and then I'm working some more. So if anyone's at any of these other states that would like to help me out, let me know. Boom, 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 boom. Night, Craig. Yep. What was he, 17? So Costa Rica would be 18 countries, so that'd be cool. We've already gone. We're actually want to go to Barbados next. We're looking to go to a couple of the other Caribbean islands,
Yes.
Trinidad and Tobago, maybe Jamaica while we're down there. Who knows?
Nice.
So anyways, oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah. Give me a buzz. DatuTim@gmail.com, or if we're Facebook friends, just let me know. We'll go from there.
Excellent.
One, have some kind of guideline for your students to follow so they know what they need to do if you, whether it's belts, levels, modular, whatever the case may be.
And it helps them keep track. I remember I having what we had from the tests and Eric's and your curriculum helped a lot. Helped us stay focused.
The other thing is be open to talk to your people. I hate when people said, well, what do I need to test? If you don't know that, you should. If you have to ask, you don't know. Oh, you're full of shit.
Right.
Definitely see you in a few weeks, Darren.
See you, Darren.
What I would say is, you know what? You need, if we're the teachers, we need to lay it out for them and give them a roadmap. That's our job. And this nonsense, all the stuff that people said before this, oh, well, if you don't know, you have to ask. That's bullshit because they don't know themselves. Anytime I asked me what I needed to, I remember Brett Salafi asked me, well, how do you get promoted so fast? Well, I do my work. And I asked Remy, what do I need to do?
Yeah, you didn't ask for promotions, right? You asked for, like I did. What do I need to work on? What do I need to fix?
I remember like the one time I just promoted you last month. I go, yeah, but I need to know. I mean, were my disarms weak? I mean, what do you want to see me improve? Because a promotion, a test should be more like a job evaluation. They should sit there and say, hey, look, what did Craig need to work on? His interpersonal skills or something?
he's gone. We can't
bust his chops. Hey, listen, you know what? Your left on right's weak, or your disarming reversals need work. You need to work on your sombrada drill. Your police is strong, but your entries are good, but your finishes need a little more polishing. Great, whatever. I mean, that's what it should have been, and that's the way I looked at every test. It was to tell me what I was doing well. And then, I remember, I want both. I want, what did I do well? And what do I need to work on? Because I want to know if I've been, I put work into this, effort into this. Maybe I wasn't getting the result that I wanted.
Right.
The other thing, we got to stop. If we want the art to go forward, we need to be accessible. So we need to be out there talking to people. The other thing, we didn't talk about it much, but we have to stop with the default. Well, we can't do this because we're Filipino martial artists. Bullshit. We're martial artists. We're martial artists first. We happen to specialize in the Philippine arts. So we got to stop. Well, we don't have Filipino schools. Bullshit. There's several of them. And if we don't change our mindset, that's never going to stop. So we got to stop sabotaging ourselves.
Right.
If we talk about other shows, we're always going to talk about uniforms, belting system, or maybe a wristband system or an armband, something, whatever the case, but something to help promote people to go things, having skin in the game, having equipment packages for when they come in. But after all that kind of stuff, they need a roadmap, and we are their tour guide. if one way or another they're paying. They're paying by cash, by trade, by. I mean, you have people pay not money, but showing up is how you judge they pay you by the commitment, right?
Yep.
It has nothing to do with finances. So you don't have to have this. Doesn't have to be a commercial school. Ty doesn't have a commercial school, but he's producing people and they're training with them and they keep doing it.
Strangely, for years and years and years. I think 2 of them were on 10 years now, which is creepy.
Yeah. Well, I think they've been drinking too much and they don't know better.
That's probably it.
But at the end of the day, they need to know. We need to. It's our job to do this, and I'm not saying it's a paid job. If you take the mantle of being a teacher, then you have responsibilities.
Yep, you have to take it seriously. It matters.
And then and taking and being honest with what we're teaching them too. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is about skill development. This is about protecting yourself. This is historical combat, which may not be relevant today, but it's all about skill development. Blah blah blah. And if you don't know, get help to help you know. Hey, when was the last time you seen me at a seminar? Do you ever see me at a seminar training, Ty?
Every time we go to one, you're at least training a little bit, unless there's a physical thing wrong. But yeah.
Let me see. Where were? Oh, Bobby Tabata's camp.
Yep, you were training.
We went there to train, and all of a sudden he walks up. Tim, would you like to teach something? Oh, okay.
Right.
I'm always prepared, but I never go expecting that.
Right. Which is the right attitude. I mean, too many people are the other way around. They're expecting to teach, and they're asked to train. What the heck? Why am I training? Because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That's why.
Yeah. I think yeah. And the big thing here is I think, and like I said, this one, I want to apologize to everybody if this shows a little on the chaotic side. I've had a very good day, but it was a very chaotic day. A lot of wrenches came at me, but one of the best things, I passed my fire inspection.
Oh, good, very good.
But there was a little anxiety dealing with that, and
wait, this is New York, right?
Yeah, I got a good guy. No, I passed the last time. They skipped last year because of COVID. They had to work on other places that were harder, and I was in good position. Yep. Whoop. Yep. There we go. Whoop, whoop.
If it was New York City, I'd say some other unkind comments.
You mean I'd have to have like an envelope with some green stuff?
Exactly. That's their stereotype. Look, I'm making a joke, everybody.
Or is he?
Pretty much everything I say is sometimes, except for when it's not.
Sometimes this could be one of those.
That's right.
So if this was a little more disjointed, I want to apologize for that because like I said, I had a blast at the seminar. Ty had his good thing. We both had a couple wrenches thrown at us. And then the comments, this racist nonsense. Oh, I've never been to the Philippines, so I don't know what I'm talking about. So what does that say about someone who left the Philippines and taught and promoted me? Oh, you mean like Remy? No, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's right.
Can't be. But the guys who never trained with him, obviously, they are the expert on his art, and he isn't. So what do I know? Did I just say that out loud?
Well, they had to start from the other side. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they don't have it, it's easier to tear someone down because you don't know what you're talking about. But whatever. Once again, I got a big target because, when you're one of the biggest names, you become one of the biggest targets. And I'm vocal. I don't. I think it's because I don't bend over.
You're not a wilting flower.
Hell no. So, yeah. And listen, we gotta start producing, not promoting.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
And that's because at the
promotions
end of the day,
take care of themselves. That can't be your primary thing. Promotions take care of themselves when the production is done right.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you can promote everybody you want. It doesn't mean shit. I've been waiting for this one, I think. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Can you think of anything, brother?
No, I mean, we brought in a lot of things from the sides, but I actually don't think it was that chaotic. But maybe I'm the wrong person because I'm generally chaotic anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell you this stuff later. Well, when we do our
We have to
debrief.
catch up. Yeah, there's another thing I have to tell you. So.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you too. You got
Oh
to tell
yeah.
me.
Okay. There you go. Well, let's get rid of these guys then.
Yeah. Okay. You guys all got to go. You're fired. You're out.
That's right.
Oh wait, what was that? Okay, what? You're out. That's my thing.
That's right. That's right.
Secrets? Well, of course. The world's full of them, brother. Hey, you know a secret, Chris? Well, it's not a secret anymore. We like you. The secret, I gave him so we did the awards banquet, and Chris has been the joke was that he was my stalker, but he was also promoting everybody's martial arts in the area. Everybody.
Awesome. That's beautiful.
When we did the event, I go, hey, listen, I got to talk to someone. I gave him a Taliban, and then he became a cutting machine. He was like cutting bottles left and right. So hopefully his sword isn't rusty. Hopefully he's been putting some oil on it to keep things going. So,
yep.
But I'll have to compare some of the newer blades. He'd probably like some of the new ones. I'm waiting to see if my blades make it over in time. Everything else it's oiled. Good. So, that's why we like him.
Good.
So, okay. We'll have a backup topic because I haven't heard from Rocky this week. He told me let's shoot for next week.
Okay.
Wednesday, I'll announce what our topic is. It's getting close to camp, so
there's no after camp. There's none, right? That Monday after camp, we'll take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break. You'll
be sick of me by then, anyway.
Maybe we'll do something live from here.
Oh, we could do that.
We might have a couple opportunities. Don't be surprised if we have an impromptu show.
We've done it before. Remember the live training session on one of the camps?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because I do have the same camera on my main floor, so it'd be easy enough for me to go boop done. So, all right. Well, listen. We're gonna wrap things up here, and then we'll see you guys later. Listen. Modern Arnis Anniversary Camp, May 20th through 22nd at the World Modern Arnis Alliance headquarters in Horizon Martial Arts. Great show. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. Listen, everybody, as always, if you got something out, you have something you want to have on the show, let us know. And if people are interested in doing, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Jobu!
Jobu.
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen Joe. I was hoping Jobu was going to be able to make it, but we were in Finland together.
Ah, okay, excellent.
So he's one of the Combatant members that have decided to take up our sponsorship.
Awesome.
And hopefully, hey Jobu, have you gotten any leads yet from our website? I've sent him a lead before. Then I put it up on the website. I'm going to start doing some more optimization work.
Excellent.
Yeah, and because on the side note, I do the seminars for profit, but I run the organization at a loss because I run it out of my pocket. But it's okay. It's all good. It's about the big picture here. So, all right, everybody. Todd, you got an event coming up besides our camp?
No, I think that's the biggest one we want to highlight is that if you can make the 65th, please do. It's a one-off, a giant one-off. It's gonna be a blast.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. As always, please stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim
and PG Tye, and stay healthy too.
And we'll see you all soon.